Are you one of those who stress about stress before there's even stress to stress about? Well, that was quite a tongue twister, and rightly so, because today I'm going to be shining light on an emotion that often has us all twisted. The emotion that I'm talking about is anxiety. Yes. Now, anxiety is a word that is overused and sometimes misinterpreted too. But before we get into today's episode, a quick introduction. Hi, my name is Shobha Rana. I'm an emotional intelligence and life coach. Welcome to my new learning series called Emotion Management, where I'll coach you to effectively manage and use your emotions in your favor. We will pick one emotion a day and understand its root cause, behavioral changes it induces, its effect on our physical body, relationships, career, and a lot more. I'll also be helping you out with tips and techniques to effectively manage your emotions so that they work for you instead of putting you on a downward spiral. Let's get started with today's emotion, anxiety. Firstly, tell me how many of you knew that it's an emotion? Most of us think of anxiety as a transient or permanent state, which means it is a result of something but not a cause. Things not going in your favor trigger your anxiety, but anxiety can also be a root cause of a lot of complications and situations in your life, just like any other emotion. Let's understand what anxiety really is. Now, when you perceive a threat, you might feel uneasy, worried, nervous, distressed, or even scared. That feeling, that emotion that it incurs in you is anxiety. Now, is having anxiety or being anxious normal? As perceived by many people, anxiety is not a mental disorder. It has more to do with your emotional imbalance, feeling of tension, worried thoughts, etc. Emotions are caused by how the brain is thinking and interpreting the world. If your anxiety is coming up for you, your brain is perceiving the situation you are right now in as a survival threat. And it's a natural and healthy response to a situation you might think be harmful for you. But if these feelings hang around or pop up with no apparent reason or a small trigger or start to impact your day-to-day life, it could be the sign of an anxiety condition. Anxiety conditions are really common. There are plenty of different types of anxiety conditions and different people experience them differently because we are humans and we experience the emotions differently. First thing I want you to do right now is stop feeling anxious about anxiety. Now, but how do we stop feeling anxious? You can never stop feeling any emotion. That's a fact. All that you can do is learn to master or manage it more effectively. I've got a few techniques for you to manage your anxiety. Number one, mindfulness. Use mindfulness. It is an effective tool to manage anxiety. Mindfulness is the practice of being present to the present, living in the present moment. Anxiety is often caused by the worries of the past or the stress of the future. When you learn to live in the present moment and appreciate everything that you have in that moment, it gets easier to handle your anxiety. The second technique I've got for you is yoga. Well, I love yoga. There's no denying to that. I highly vouch for it because it helps you practice mindfulness with each incoming and outgoing breath and posture. The word yoga means union. It means connection, the divine connection of your mind, body, and soul to each other. You can call it consciousness or spiritual power or universal power, energies, but what matters is having this self-awareness. You should practice yoga to keep this connection with yourself intact. Otherwise, it can get entangled, taking you on a roller coaster ride of emotions, ideas, opinions, and feelings. Third, the power of yet. Now, whenever I feel anxious, I start answering the questions in my head calmly and in a neutral way. I saw this technique called the power of yet on a TED talk by Carol Dweck. Whenever your brain freaks out with any negative thought, for example, I'm 40 years old and I don't own my house, change it a bit. Instead of rushing your adrenaline with anxiousness, boost it with motivation, saying that I'm 40, I don't own a house yet. Now this yet gives you a scope for moving ahead, working towards a particular goal and direction, instead of just harboring negativity about your present situation. Fourth, self-reflection. Use it for gaining clarity about yourself and what you really want. Ask yourself these 3 questions. What are your top priorities that are most important to you? How would you prefer to spend the next 3 years in a perfect world? Third, imagine you found out you had only 1 year left to live. How would you spend that year? What would you do? When you find your answers, do those things anyway, as they will make you happy and take your mind off from the negativity that you are constantly processing in the shape of or in the form of anxiety. Fifth is breathing practices to calm down anxiety. There are multiple breathing practices. I will be making a separate video on it. But to name a few, I would say box breathing is really effective. Alternate nostril breathing, deep belly breathing are some of the scientifically proven methods to calm down your anxiety. Sixth, guided meditation. People with anxiety and depression should go for guided meditation with a teacher or play a guided meditation video on an app and immerse yourself with the instructions. This practice will make you learn to be aware of the present moment and appreciate it. Well, that is it for today. Please subscribe to my channel, like, comment and share the videos in your groups to help me reach a wider audience with these free learning videos. I'd really appreciate your support. Thank you.